carries, but it was in the hands of T1 every time that we've seen it. Now Croco is going to be wielding him.
And something that I'm going to be looking towards here is, I think the setup for Croco is great in all his lanes. They have a nice damage spread as well. They are a composition that is squishy, so you do want to be on even footing or ahead. If you get into the mid to late game, you want to look for the skirmishes, the 2v2s, the 3v3s, because, you know, Orianna and Nidalee, it's not the greatest of combos. Na is fairly gated by his cooldowns. The one thing, though, is that Ona will have basically guaranteed prio on bot and mid, especially in the early game.
It's sort of he's an interesting champion, is the old Varus, because he can stay relevant throughout the entire game if these arrows can continue to land, right? Because getting all of that preparatory poke is going to be very, very beneficial. As Croco already started the work on this Mountain Drake.
That's a sneaky one.
Yeah.
I don't think they know. And that's the benefit, of course, of getting in there early, right? Wonder why the pings went down. Also, don't know if Croco sneaked in over the ward or a trap, or if he was taking the blast cone over. So might have to check for that in the replay. But now, of course, T1 do know. Giving up the first Drake, not the end of the world, but this is looking like a little bit of a better seeing owner path. So that makes me happy.
Yeah.
I would really like that. I think that keeping Teddy relevant in this game is going to make you, in a general, feel a lot better. As Shot found now, Teddy needs to deal with his wave. Oh, still so far behind.
Yeah.
20 CS. Oh, this is a scuttle.
Yeah, great hook to come forward here as Carrier is just going to flash onto Prince, but immediately he has the cleanse, takes the Lantern as well to get himself back into a better position. The spears and the arrows need to land if they want to set something up, but there is no Drake here. T1 just posturing right now to give Teddy as much space as they can. The rest of Live Sandbox trying to get down towards that bottom lane. Man, Thresh is skinnier than I thought. He got missed by that arrow. Nicely done. That's, yeah, okay, unfortunately, we've got to get back on the treadmill.
That one Helios.
Oh, and okay.
As well. Well, that's plates. Or chippy at least. Because Kyria, even though he used his flash in what I felt like was a great bluff, I don't know if T1 actually was in a position to turn as fast there. Oh, Faker's coming as well.
Yeah, fish
looking
barrel
dangerous.
Down here. There is a shockwave available.
Double TP available for Sandbox though.
Right now, it's just T1 positioning themselves around here, trying to get as many plates as they can before they unleash the Rift Herald. There's a very deep teleport to come through from the Silas. There's Effort in a bit of trouble. Croco looking for something. Is the shockwave going to come through? But the Heartbreaker is buffered. Croco makes it out. Fate spotted here by Ona. That's great news for T1. As Fate not even able to get himself out of the way of the spear. As Ona walking further forward than even Effort was expecting, as now the fight is going to break out. Solar Flare goes completely wide. They do get the flash out, so Croco has to use everything. Is now Prince down to 350. And T1 still closing in. The war of attrition from this poke composition working beautifully right now. And if Ona had missed maybe 2 more of these spears, this could have been a very different situation, as Effort almost just barely getting missed by that last spear, as that piercing arrow is dangerous, as Fate has found Faker. There's the shockwave, but it's more of a hula hoop here for Fate, unfortunately.
Double as well, but the rest of his team just not in the greatest of spots.
Yeah, this is really dangerous. Thresh nowhere near Prince right now, but we'll be able to regroup. His legs down there. One last plate to go down potentially for T1, who currently have about a 1,000 gold lead. Now they're looking for their first Drake as well.
The real question is, do you just never rotate Kana so Fate can't steal his ultimate? just push. Just make sure Summit doesn't TP, okay?
Yeah.
Just that's your only job. We'll win.
Praising, like, I think it was Yellow Pete back in the day. It's like, wow, he landed it. Speaking of landed it, goodbye, Mr. Cannon. Can't even get these stuns off. As Carrier turns up, that Solar Flare is going to connect, and that is a very dead lightning.
Setting up for Italy, that's fine. Just take your Leona, you know? It's set up, take it and go. Leona just walks everywhere that Ona does. It's the combo there. It is a clean setup then to land the spear, take the damage, and teleport coming through here now from both Faker and Kana. Really going all in on the second Herald. Don't think it's that important of an objective, but might get ourselves a fight here, Atlas.
Yeah, they're still looking for it. Teddy's walking over Vision. Moving towards this one as Shirley is going to reset. Teddy going to get some vision here of the rest of Live Sandbox backing away. Phalanx going to be put into line once again. T1 will be able to collect this one. Fate goes and grabs himself that Solar Flare. Now the siege is going to begin, but counter siege certainly an option here for T1, and their line wave clear absolutely fantastic with the Teddy piercing arrows. And we mentioned earlier just how dangerous it is to give a comp like this map controllers. That's a big old Nara into the wall. The cannon in trouble is going to have to flash out of the way of the spear. He takes so much damage. Cannon wants more, and he's going to pick it up with the hyper proc. The turret isn't going to be able to come any further forward, and Shirley is going to get her work done. Hook not going to be avoided here by Teddy, who finds the Chains of Corruption onto Effort. But he uses his cleanse, gets himself out of the way, and Effort going to hold on to his flash. So nicely done there by the Thresh. Still, it's going to be difficult. Now finds the flay onto Owner as Shirley also finds the headbutt onto this T1 quite nicely.
And now, as Live Sandbox, you have the skirmish composition that's playing from relatively far behind. Spikes are getting hit, Kana's getting more tanky, gets the wit's end. Makes him more of a nuisance in the side lane, allows him to charge on that passive a little bit quicker. Oh, shown a lot of those as here as well. Like this teleport comes in, it's very telegraphed, but you can't move into your jungle. There's no vision, there's no way for you as Live Sandbox to reliably place check this, because if you walk into unwatered territory, into a poke comp, that's scary enough, but it's also a not Orianna Leona comp.
Yeah, so much CC. The pick potential here is just ridiculous as Effort walks over the control ward, Croco in position, the rest of Live Sandbox, they're all rotating together. Going to be difficult for T1 to get that collapse back, but you saw it was just Teddy left in that mid lane, and even though he didn't have his cleanse, he still had his flash available, and his wave clear certainly going to be dangerous, as Fate says, no, I want to be able to hit you with your own ultimate. See whether he can actually find it, as now Teddy is just trying to, walk this one out as best he can. Escaping from the Silas is going to be difficult as he lands the chains over the wall. Goodbye. Right as I was saying that Varus was safe, he gets killed, so I need to apologize now for the caster curse.
He was in fact not safe.
Yeah, big sorry.
That's okay. It felt maybe to Teddy for a moment there. Unfortunately, the chase potential of Silas obviously great. Also Teddy flashing in the line, not ideal, and this is the kind of flank you need.
Yeah, Live Sandbox looking for even more here. Teddy's still dead for 10 seconds at the summit. Has found two with his slicing Maelstrom. Faker immediately taken down. Carrier is just running away as best he can. The Baron's been alive for 50 seconds, and Live Sandbox are trying to end that now as they move over to the pit.
The exact situation that you need to avoid as T1. The kill on Teddy is one thing, that's fine, that's not the end of the world, but then why are you sieging in mid without control of your vision? Right, they walk in very deep, get greedy for some damage on the mid lane turret, and now they're gonna lose the Baron this early on.
Yeah, it's an absolute disaster. Teddy really desperately wanting to hold on to his flash, and unfortunately he uses it and dies anyway. So a bit of a shame, as we're going to check this one out as well, as they looked for the pick onto Prince, but unfortunately the counter engage was too good.
Yeah, you can't. You're not allowed to be that far up, especially without your full team into the composition that Live Sandbox had. You know, this is the one way that they get back into this game. And Fate is getting more and more fed.
Yeah.
Mobility, and we've gone from a game where Fate was getting bullied by Faker. Oh, look at the Silas. He's one auto away from getting taken down. And here we are, because this is what the Silas does. When the gameplay isn't clean of your opponents and you're able to find isolated targets to duel, you're in a great spot. Kana, you can't get caught here. Drake is coming up soon.
Yeah, he's teleporting in vision, and it is going to get cancelled. Goodbye, Kana. He's taken out once again. Another overextension here for T1. 46.
Doesn't get to teleport into the fight immediately, right? So it is a high risk, low reward play, because even if you do get out, you don't have your teleport available. And now, contest on this Drake looking basically impossible. And yeah, with stopwatch second as well, like owner's damage not going to be as threatening as some of the Pino comes to mind type of build that we've seen with the Horizon Focus, where it's really all about those spears. This is still a bit more of a hybrid build where you're also able to jump in deep. And spikes being hit are bigger for T1. They still have a gold lead. But this is, to me, something that scares me, because this is the first time that Live Sandbox have actually looked like Live Sandbox in this series, where they're able to find these decisive type of plays. And this is exactly what you need in a game 3. I mean, it's obvious. Cause
you can see Ona with a 30 CS lead. Certainly feeling like he has Croco's number right now, but this composition isn't just a straight up composition, right? You don't want to just straight up fight your opponents. You want to land all that poke, and then lock down the picks with all the CC.
Need to land at least a little, or have someone that you can just hunt it to 0. But look at the builds. That's actually really hard. Stopwatch available for Fate. Sonya's available.
Over the last little while, especially to the north of the map. But now Liv Sandbox's going to move in there and get rid of it where they can. The Baron has respawned, is now Canna looking for Summit, but the teleport will come forward. That's a flash, and Summit just immediately goes golden, buys time for Fate to get on in here. And Canna, I don't know what that was, but it did not work.
Not sure either.
This is in fact the trade that they like making, is Carrier going to get a bit of a face check onto Fate, who's going to gnar him into the wall. Solar Flare defensively as the chains will connect onto the gnar, as the Shockwave does come forward as well. Faker is going to try and zone them, and they do so by making sure that Fate uses his Zhonyas. T1 able to disengage, but Liv Sandbox take this as an invitation to get right on top of the Baron. T1 indecisive right now, the Baron going down relatively slowly as Summit looking for his flank. There's the flash in! The exhaust is going to come down though, as now Summit's in trouble. He's going to fall immediately as Carrier goes golden. Chains of Corruption connecting, but there's not that much damage on T1's side. Prince forced out of there, has some short-range weaponry at the moment. And it's a 4v4. Prince is the win condition as there's the gnar. And Canna may have done it. They lock down Effort. As now right into the back line they go as they trade 1-for-1. It's supports now that have been taken out. Carrier and Effort have both fallen down.
Karnasipi can go back with a fresh health bar. And I don't think either team can go for Baron here, but they're now moving towards the objective. Kana coming in with the flank.
Yeah, immediate teleport to come through here as Fate looks for the chains, but only finds a hijack onto Teddy. Now Kana with absolutely 0 mega bar shows himself to the rest of Liv Sandbox. The 3 could collapse on him. He does not have his flash available, but can hop some walls if you would like to, and does do that. As we now see T1 trying to work out what they want to do, as it looks like Liv Sandbox will just walk over and take Soul Point.
And it's the threat that's available, right? Yes, you can approach her as T1, but if you get hit of 100 to 0ing that Liv Sandbox has, it's too much. Soul Point is taken, but... Oh! Whew.
Okay, Teddy. Very close, but Summit might just be able to take him down here. Just needs one more Q, and that is good by Varus. In the meantime, T1 are taking on the Baron. Let's see whether they can actually lock this one up. They're going to need to try and burst it. Lantern Right is going to be taken here as T1 will be able to secure the Baron, but can they get out alive? Two-man Shockwave comes on through. Summit also has to use his Zhonyas, as now Owner is also going to go into his, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough as Liv Sandbox tidy up. It's Canna and Carrier left with a Baron, but at least Liv Sandbox aren't going to be able to take one for themselves, but they might be able to break open the base off this one. It's 32.5 minutes into this game, and Prince does a heck of a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think they might be able to get in it here. Teddy's going to be up soon, but he alone is not enough to hold this up. And even with the Baron wave, you're not going to have enough time. I wonder if Liv Sandbox, do you want to try and flip it? Do you want to just try and go for the end? It's a big risk, not one they're willing to take, which I think is the right call. Composition can do fine later on as well, but this series. And as Liv Sandbox, you're feeling good, right? You're able to get these more scrappy fights as Teddy gets killed, and then you get into a 2v2, a 3v3. As long as you can keep that going, your composition has an incredible amount of power. And it's not like it's just that, right? T1 needs players so respectful because Fate at this point is an absolute menace. The late game of Silas, when he is level 18, when he has a couple of items free in this case, when he has a Dark Seal that's stacking, the quality of ultimates available for T1. It's terrifying.
Yeah, I'd agree. And it's also, as far as ease of execution, this composition works extremely well as there's the Solar Flare. Looking for some of these ultimates as Crocco's going to flash his way out. Canna looking for the Narbar, but he's going to get denied. Prince with the Q from his Severum going to be able to deter the Gnar from running any further forward.
Lens used, and that might be a big one. Solar Flare as well, but should be up. All the Cloud Drakes mean that cooldown timers in this game, not really a thing, Atlas. We have them for every single fight.
Yeah.
Maybe Cloud Souls are the reason we get more action, not less.
Yeah, Azael was right all along, I tell you. As the teleport to come through here from T1, Summit trying to turn this possibility as he's immediately going to get exhausted as Faker not going to get taken down here. Summit absolutely is, as that might have been an overly aggressive play. As now Liv Sandbox setting up. Chain's not going to connect at all, as now Prince going to take a Lantern. Chains of Corruption connect, as that's a big Gnar from Fate. But where's the follow-up? He does find his Zhonya's button. Shockwave comes through and they get rid of the Silas. Croco trying to get out of there as Owners dived on forward. Goodbye, Mr. Aphelios. That's not enough years quite available.
Croco's very low. Kana's going to try and defend. I don't think they can do this. If you have full health bar as Viego there, maybe. But Kana is fed. He's at the ready.
Oh, not able to stop it. Man, that could have been big. But it is going to be the inhibitor taken one more time here from T1.
They're looking for it.
Yeah, we're going to go for the end. 5 members of T1 pushing on forward. 25 seconds on Fate, 22 on Prince. Is now effort desperately trying to keep these turrets alive. But T1, they are one-track focused. They want this 3-0. Hookie's going to connect onto Faker, but it's not going to be enough. And T1, despite everything that happened in the mid to later game, they are still able to make that decisive play and take down Live Sandbox 3-0. In this best of 5.
And I think it was the messiest game out of the 3, but it's still one that in the end was enough. And whew, that's also one where I think as T1, okay, if that's the first game in the series, this might have been
you'd be
very different.
You'd be feeling a little bit worse there, but you can imagine that there are going to be some size